Hello guys, welcome to the session and I hope all of you guys are doing good. So let's start with the discussion today. So as you must be aware of how the development cycle and software development life cycle is changing over the period of time as and when the AI is coming in. So one of the tools which is quite popularly used and people are using it quite extensively is Claude Code. So how can we do a spec-driven development where we will be providing all the details to the machine and machine will generate the entire application for me end to end. So this is what we are going to discuss. What are the components which we have for the Claude Code and how we can leverage those components. Before I proceed further, I'll show you the application which I have built. We are starting from the database development till the entire front end integrated with the AI. Everything is done by Claude Code, right? So I'll open up this particular table. So this is my dashboard where you can see that we have the number of open tickets. So this application is basically, we can create a ticket, we can see the tickets, right? Here you can see the create ticket option where we can provide the details and initiate the ticket. We have the list of tickets, what we have, how many are closed, how many are open. We can click on the ticket and we can view the ticket. What is the information out there? We can export this entire ticket in a PDF or CSV format. So for example, I'm interested in all the open tickets, which are an urgent priority. And you can select the dates as well if you want to and download it in the PDF format. So you can see that the open ticket coming in, which is of urgent priority. Right. So that is my application, which we have. Then we have the front end also integrated, like the AI model is also integrated, where we can connect with the AI and we can ask questions about the open tickets. Right. So for example, here you can see how many open tickets are there with urgent priority. So it is going to hit the OpenAI API and hit my database, and it is going to give me the response. So there is one open ticket with the urgent priority. If you need more details about it, just let me know. Yes, give me the details. Okay. So ticket number 00012. You can quickly confirm that with the PDF which we downloaded. That is ticket number 00012. Right. So this entire application we can build with the help of AI. You don't have to write the code from your side. Everything will be AI driven. It's just how well you are going to use this particular Claude Code concept and implement this entire solution. Right. So basically we created this ticket flow application where we have the authentication, we have the session, we have the dashboard, which we have seen in the front end, ticket and workflow, where we can create the ticket, close the ticket, activity history. We can search the tickets and we can export the data into CSV format or reports. And we have the chat assistant as well, which will convert the text to SQL and generate the entire query. At the backend, it is actually hitting and you can see, select the table and getting all the queries. Okay. So that is what it is doing. And this is the entire workflow we have. Streamlit front end, Python package, and MySQL database, which is basically the database which we are using. And Streamlit is my front end. In between, the entire Python code is there. Now, how this entire implementation can be done? So when we are getting the project, we normally get a BRD, the business requirement document, right? So if I show you that in my scenario as well, so this is my business requirement document, which was given by the business. Obviously, it's a hypothetical company and hypothetical scenario, but this is the entire business requirement document which I have created, right? And here you can see the entire information. What is the business objectives? What is the scope of the project? What is out of scope? Who are the stakeholders? Assumptions and constraints. These are the functional requirements. A visitor can register with a unique username, email, and password. Password are stored in the bcrypt hashes, plain text, and so on and so forth. So that is about the authentication requirement. Same way, this is the dashboard requirement. Immediately after login, the user sees a summary dashboard. That is what we were seeing. The dashboard display counts of tickets by status. The dashboard shows the user's most recent tickets and so on, so forth again. For the create ticket requirement, right, we had the button there to create the ticket. So here we have the option of create ticket and we can create the ticket as well. So that is as per the requirement. User can create a ticket with a title, description, category, and priority. Title, description, category, and priority. Right, and other details again. Priority will have low, medium, high, urgent. So the same options you are getting here. Okay. Same way your status workflow and activity history. So user can update a ticket status only along a allowed transition. A illegal transition is rejected. So these are some of the requirements again we have. Then ticket list and search filter. Reports, which I can export into the CSV and PDF. And then we have the Gen AI chat assistant. So total we have roughly 7 different requirements. 6.7 as in 7 requirements we have. And then last is obviously I want to load some dummy data for demo purpose. So demo data seeding, right? These are some of the non-functional requirements. Data model, these tables I wanted, user, ticket, ticket activity, and chat messages, which is optional, right? We are not storing the chat as of now. So you will be seeing 3 tables. Let's go and check it out in the database. Yeah, chat message is also there. Let me just check it out, whether we have any information out there. Yeah, it is empty as of now. I did not develop this, but other tables are pretty much there. Ticket activity, right? You will have the tickets and you will have the users. Okay, see, all these are dummy data, which was loaded by this particular requirement, right? Then we have the business rules. We have the roles and permissions, technology stack, what technologies I want to use. This is my UI and UX design. I want my front end to be having these colors, green, purple, and pink. Layout and topography. You can provide the images of your front end as well. You can design that in your Figma and other type of tools, and you can provide that information as well. It will generate the front end on those lines. Okay. So this is the entire business requirement document which we have. Now what I did is I converted this entire document into the .md format. Right? If you open up this is exactly the same document, but the format is the MD document, MD format, right? Why we are using MD? Because all of your LLMs are very well trained on .md files. So it understands better, and obviously the outcome which we are getting is also much better. That's why the entire requirements, everything I have put it in the .md. And using this .md, I will be generating the specs. So here you can see that there is a spec coming in authentication spec, BRD reference, right? So a visitor can register unique username and so on and so forth. Dashboard spec. We had 7 requirements: authentication, dashboard, create ticket, status workflow, list search filter, report export, and AI assistant. So these are the specs which we have created with the help of the Claude code only, right? So here you can see that spec.md. Before I get into this folders, let me help you understand what is the folder structure we have. Whenever we are using Claude Code, you will be having one .claude folder. Here you can see .claude folder. Inside this .claude folder, you will be finding various folders and files, right? So we will be having .claude folder. Inside that, you will be finding one folder called agents. Right? You can see that there is one folder called agent. There is one folder called command. There is one folder called hooks. There is one folder called skills. Plus there are 2 files. One is the settings and second is the plugin. So agents, commands, your hooks, skills, and 2 files. One is settings.json and plugins.json. Right? So I'm talking about as of now commands. Inside this, I have one spec.md. So spec.md does what? If you go back and check it out, let me zoom a bit, maybe Control plus. Let me close this for now. So derive a feature spec from the BRD and write a spec. So basically you have to look at the BRD and you have to create a spec for me. Docs brd.md file, you have to read it. Create the spec file for the feature argument. So this argument will be given by me, right? Argument will be given by me, the feature ID, right? For example, /spec space your authentication, right? So I can just go to the Claude Code and I can say that /spec space auth. I'm not running this as of now because it's all built. But when I run this, what will happen? It will generate the entire authentication MD file for me, right? So the purpose of spec is to generate the specs for me. And this is a command. Command as in what? This is a / command which you are getting in, and this will only run when you are calling it. If you are not calling it, it will never run. So commands are basically nothing but which automatically does not run. You have to call it, then only this command will run. So once that is done, I have created the second. Once the specification is done, once the spec document is ready, I will be running the implementation, right? So locate the spec file based on the argument, right? For example, I am saying /implement and auth. So in that case, it is going to look for the auth file, auth spec file, and implement the entire solution. Right? Here you can see, you can read, I'll share all these files with you. You can go through that. And once that is done, I have the third MD file, which is the verification, verify whether the implementation is correct or not. So verify auth. Okay. So these are the commands which I can call and then only it will run, else it will never run. That is the command funda. One more file which is very important is the claude.md, which is a Bible, which is a constitution, right? This file provides the guidance to Claude Code when working with the code in the repository. Ticket flow is a web-based AI assistant management. And here again, I have given all the details, right? MD files. You have to install the requirement.txt. You have to run the script, run app, You have to do the testing as well, right? Everything is present here very much in detail. How will I connect to the databases and all, right? Then how is the architecture, front end. So this is like a Bible which has all the details about the project. So it looks at this. So you can see the color coding and all, how I want the front end and all. So everything is present in this particular file. It's like a Bible for me, the constitution for me. So that is what I've explained here as well. So BRD, I have to create the spec. I have to implement the same, and then I want to verify that. So what spec will do? Derive a spec citing BRD IDs plus acceptance criteria. No code yet. Write code against the approved spec only. So implementation will be done with the approved specs. Run tests against specs acceptance criteria. So command, as we mentioned, it's a saved prompt. You trigger with the name. It will never get triggered by yourself, like by automatically. You have to trigger it by yourself, right? That is first thing. Second is skills. So here you can see I want to export the CSV, I want to export the PDF, I want to export the brand style. Skills are also like a command only. But the only thing is that skills will be triggered by Claude Code. If it feels like these skills are required, Claude Code will automatically run that. Command will not be run by Claude Code. We have to explicitly run that. Skills machine checks whether do I need that skill or not, and it will execute that skill. Right? That is what you can see the definition here. Reusable recipes, Claude auto applies. Right. Next is the hooks. You must have seen the behavior of your Gen AI models that you are asking for certain tasks. Sometime it does, sometime it does not. Hooks are basically nothing but a compulsory step. It is making your Claude Code deterministic. So hooks are basically a compulsory step which you have to run always. You cannot skip that. For example, here you can see I have a block destructive and allow safe. So basically what all commands I can run is putting in the allow, and what all commands I cannot run. Suppose someone says that I want to drop the users table, right? I want to drop the users table. Let's see that. Drop the users table. So I am expecting that it should not drop. I want to do that. Dropping the user table is destructive, irreversible operation. It would be permanently because it is present in this block destructive.py, and it's a hook. So do whatever, it will never drop it, right? I want to drop it. Do that. It will never do that. Looks like it's doing it. Yeah. So now it is asking me, right? Drop the user table. So I'll just make it no because I don't want to do that. I need to fix this problem. But the purpose of hook is what? The purpose of hook is to go ahead and say script that fires on the tool events. It will always run, right? So basically the idea is that if someone says that I want to drop the table, it will go and check out here whether it is applied or not. If it is applied, it will do that. Here you can see I mentioned drop table, ignore, right? I don't want it to run this. Ignore case as in if it is case sensitive, I'm writing small drop, capital drop, that does not matter. I cannot drop this. I cannot truncate this. All those things I cannot do that. Okay. So that is the hooks. So some steps which you want to run always, some steps which you don't want to run always, or you never want to run, right? So there are two types of hooks we have. One is the pre-tool hook. So if you go and check it out here in the settings.json, you will be getting the hooks here, right? Pre-tool use, which is a block destructive.py and allow safe.py. So pre-tool is nothing but before starting the Claude code, it will just run these things and check whether I have to run any of the commands or not. Compulsory. And post tool is basically once my development is done, after that I want to run this. For example, format and test, right? I want to format the code, I want to test the code. So these are like will be done after the implementation. Okay. So hooks are basically again very important to make your LLM deterministic. Next is the agents. Now we know that context window is one of the challenges when we are implementing any of the uh, projects, right? In that case, context window is, if you are utilizing more, it is gonna cost you more. So in that case, what we can do is we can create sub agents. For example, here I have created 3 agents. One is security auditor, one is spec reviewer, and one is test writer. So what agent does, let me show you in the image. So this is my main session, right? And then suppose main session thinks that I have to initialize or spin up the agent. It will spin up the agent and delegate the task. Suppose I am saying that I want to generate the test case. So I have a test case agent available in my environment, right? Test writer agent is available in my environment. So it will hit that particular agent and ask to generate the test cases. So the entire test cases and all the memories of this agent will not be passed to the main agent. Only the relevant information goes to the main agent. So this guy will be having its own context window and this guy will be having its own context window. So when you are creating more agents, you get extra context window and the information coming from here goes to this guy. Okay. That is the idea. So you can see that Claude Code can spin up a sub-agent that works in a separate context window and returns only its result, keeping the main conversation clean. Your build conversation context stays focused. It never fills up with the sub-agent's working notes. It spin up a new agent, reads file, does its job and in isolation and returns only the result. Right? So that is the purpose of the sub-agent which we have. Here I was talking about the hooks, right? Hooks automatic guardrail on tool events. A hook is a script Claude Code runs automatically at a life cycle event. Unlike a polite rule in Claude.md, a hook is a hard guarantee. We have two types of hooks. One is pre-tool use and second is post-tool use. It runs before a tool executes. It runs after an edit is made. Here in our example, it is block destructive. Sees drop table, delete without where and all. Exits with command 2. Exit code is 2, that means it will not run. The command is denied. You can see that here somewhere in my code as well. So if you go to my hooks and where is that? Yeah. Here you can see exit code 0 and exit code 2. Right. So exit code 2 means it is blocked. If it is blocked, exit code 2. Okay. So that is one thing. Next is your plugins. Plugin is basically nothing but the combination of everything. A package, right? I'll go to the slide directly. Here you can see. Plugin is a bundle, it all to share. A plugin packages your commands, hooks, agents, skills into one installable unit, reusable across projects and teams with a single /plugin install. So basically I have this, what do you say, standards which I want to follow. So I can create a plugin for the same and my team members can very well download that. Right. So that is the plugin. Skills we also discussed. Write a recipe once, reuse it. A skill is a reusable capability Claude can apply on its own when the task matches and trigger with /name too. It's how you stop re-explaining the same work, right? So command is basically you have to call it, a macro you control, and skill is basically which I can also control and automatically run by the Claude as well. So that is the skill we have. Okay. So now what I'll be doing is I'll be going and creating the copy of this folder. If I can, just give me a second. I'll go back and I will create this entire Control C, Control V. Okay. And I will be removing the code files. I will be removing the code files. And I have these prompts. Right. Here are the entire prompts which I have. Starting from here, right? It will generate the Claude MD file, everything it is going to generate. So these prompts we have to run. /init is a command which can help me to generate the Claude MD file. So what I'll be doing is I'll be going to this. These agents are already there, so I'm keeping it as is. I'm not changing that. What I can do is I can maybe just for you to understand, I'll just run some of the things, right? So these are the authentication files and all. Let me delete this. This also I'll delete. These are Python codes which was generated by the machine. App.py also I'll delete. Rest I think we can keep it for now. Yeah, let's keep this. And now what I'll do, I'll go to the Visual Studio Code and I'll choose that particular folder. And I click on this Claude chat. Let me close this. Yeah. Claude.md file is there. So I'm not running this init command because the file is already there. This setting JSON and also it's available. 3/ command, which is spec implement verify is also available. You can create all by automatically by passing these prompts. But as it is already present, right? My commands are already present here. So I'm not running that. I will directly go. Database development is also there. I did not drop the database. We can do the smoke testing, whether I can connect to the database or not, right? Or we can build the authentication. So basically the idea is what? Let's go with this. Spec is also there. Implementation is pending now, right? My specification document is present. I did not delete that. Let's do one thing. Let's delete the specification document also. Okay. And now you can see my spec folder is empty. I will be saying /spec auth and I'll press enter. So what it is going to do now, it will go to that BRD business requirement document. And after that, it will go and look for the authentication requirements. And it is going to generate the specification file for the same. So here you can see that the directory is empty. So this will be 01auth.empty. It is going empty. It is going to generate that. Right. Once the specification document is done, then I want to do what? I want to implement. And then I want to go ahead and I want to verify that. So these 3 steps will do it and we'll check it out what happens. So this way I have created the entire prompt. So specification of authentication, implementation, verify. I will be getting what? I'll be getting the MD file. I'll be getting the auth.py file. Then we have the dashboard. Same I want to do. Then I want to do for create ticket page. Then I want to do for the status workflow. Then I want to do for list search filter. In between, I have added the hooks and all, which is already there. Reports export. Then we have the implementation of AI. Right. So this is how we have to run all these prompts one by one. It will automatically create the entire solution for me. Right. I'll be sharing all these documents. You can play around with that. But as of now, if you see, my spec document is created. Spec authentication. This is the entire functional requirement coming in. I'll say yes. So here you can see that auth.md got created. So this is coming from my BRD. This is coming from my BRD. You can cross verify that. A visitor can register with a unique username, email, and password. The same thing we have seen in the docs as well in the BRD for your authentication. Right? A visitor can register a unique email and password and so on. So my authentication document is ready. My specification document is ready. Now I want to implement. I have to pass the argument also. It will ask me, or it will check it automatically. Which file is present, it will run that. Let's see. Yeah. See, the feature argument appears empty. I did not pass the auth, so it is reading the spec. Only one file is there, so it will build the same, right? It will build the code for the authentication. So here inside this, you will be seeing the file will be coming in. So it will purely create based on this requirement only. It will never gonna create anything except this document. Then obviously when we have the good understanding of Python, we can modify that. But the basic skeleton will be ready exactly based on what the requirement we have. Right? That is the benefit which we are getting. In the meantime, let's take one quiz, right? What we have. So what is Claude.md? It's a project rulebook Claude reads in every session. What does init does? It will generate the Claude MD file. Scans and projects draft the Claude MD file. Where do custom / command live? It's in the .claude folder, commands folder. What is the context window? Claude's working memory for the session. What does /clear do? /clear will help me to wipe out the conversation and start from the fresh, right? So suppose my context memory is exposed, it's almost utilized. I will just say /clear and that will clear my entire context memory. There is one more option available, /compact, which will compact my entire memory. Right? Two options are available, clear and compact. One more quiz here. What is a hook? A hook that blocks a command before it executes is which type? It's a pre-tool use. Key difference between command and skill. A command runs only when you type it. A skill Claude can also apply. A sub-agent runs where and returns what to the main session. It has its own context and return only the result. Right? We discussed that. In a pre-tool use hook, what is the exit code denies the tool call? That is 2. What does a plugin let you do? It bundled the commands, hooks, agents, and skill into one installable unit. Right? So here it is implementing as of now. It's checking all the files, reading all the files, and based on that, it will generate the code. So to build the entire application, it will take around 3 to 4 hours. right? I implemented that yesterday night only. So it took around 3 to 4 hours. So I thought of just to demo that and give you the idea, right? What all things can be done. So this way you have to work on every aspect of your requirement, and based on that you can go ahead and you can run each of the prompts and generate every component of your application. As of now, I'm running the authentication. This will take a bit of time and then we'll see what happens. I should be getting one page where a visitor can register with a unique username and password. So I'm expecting one page. Let's see that. Here you can see it is updating the steps. It will create auth.py. So you can see what is this file? Yeah, db.py, which is fine. So db.py coming in here. I'm using Opus model. Now it is creating the app.py. Once app.py will be ready, we can launch the application. We'll check it out. You will be getting one login page. Right. So this is my auth.py. How we can check it out? So I'll let you know. There is a command called /usage. I'll run that. Here you can see at the same time also 47% of the context remaining until auto compact. So what Claude Code does, it compact automatically as well after certain tokens were utilized. I'll show you that. Just give me a second. It's not about the OneDrive thing. It normally takes this because a lot of implementation we did. So it basically created a lot of things, right? Dashboard page, and plus I was taking some break as well in between, so that can be the reason as well. How you create this? I asked machine only that this is what my specs are, and then I want to implement this step by step. So give me the prompt so that I can implement one by one, right? You have to provide the entire details to the machine, and then machine will help you to do the rest of the task, spec creation and implementation plan, testing plan, right? Everything. So it's done, looks like. So implementation completed, right? We can verify that also. But before that, I will show you some of the commands. Let it complete first. Yeah. Here you can see where implemented. We can now apply the verify. But before that, I'll show you /usage. Right. So once I do that, here you can see that the usage which we have, how much tokens and all, 33% implement, so how much it took, right? Plus there are some other commands as well. So I have created one document as well, which is basically different slash commands. So here you can see usage, stats. Let's see what stats is doing here. Okay, stats as of now, I'm not using the terminal version. That's the reason stats is not coming in. So some of the commands you may not be getting it, right? Because I'm not using the terminal version. I'm using the Claude VS Code extension. So here you can see there is a command called compact. So as of now, you can see it is saying that 43% of the context remaining until auto compact. So I want to do compact from my side now only, right? So I can just run this and it is compact the entire context window. So what it does, it takes the summary of my previous chats and then generate the outcome for me and put that in the context window and releases all the extra things which is not required. If suppose, let's say one of the features we have developed, now I don't need the memory at all. So I can use the clear/clear. So it will clear the entire memory because I don't need that memory anymore, right? Or you can ask for creating a summary and you can put that in your Claude.md also. Because Claude.md is your Bible. So what you can do, you can ask that, okay, give me the entire summary of what we have done. Give me the summary. I'll copy that summary and put it in the Claude.md so that it will have a reference for the future, right? So all these things can be done, which can help you to take care of your implementation part. Let me launch this. So basically something happened with the auth. So let's launch this streamlit run app.py. So I'm expecting a web page. Yeah, here you can see that the web page is coming in. This is a different application than this application. This is a already implemented application, right? This is a new application which we just built, only authentication part. If I register, so here you can see that account created successfully. Let's log in now. So I logged in, but you can see these pages are as of now not fully built. If I try to run it, it will not run. It's not connected with the database as well, right? Although my database is there, right? Database is there. Data is also there. Rahul is also here. But as there is no tickets and all, nothing is there. If I add a ticket, let's say test, create, you can see I am getting an error. It's not yet implemented as of now. Okay. Because the implementation is not yet completed. We just ready with the authentication page. That is the reason. All right. So let me close this for now. Now I'll apply the verify. Okay. So you can see here that option also gone. 47%, 43% option were coming in. It's gone because I have compacted chat 89K tokens freed, right? 89K tokens freed. This is the entire past summary, which is summarized. Okay. This is my entire summary. This session being continued with the previous conversation that ran out of context. The summary below covers the earlier portion of conversation. So this entire summary is there. I can copy this also and I can put it in the Claude.md for my reference. Now I can verify auth. So this part we are doing. If you go back to the PPT. So specification done, authentication 1, implementation is also done now. Now we are verifying. Run test again the specs, acceptance criteria. So here you can see these are the tests which is going to be covered. There is no as such practice that you should be having specific type of BRD. BRD can be coming in any format, right? Because business is going to provide that. But if you think that I want to create one application, just pass the BRD and it should generate the outcome for me. What you can do is you can take the BRDs from the client and convert that to our own format BRD. Because in our BRD, which you can see, I have all the proper names and all. So here you can see that we have proper names. For example, FR auth01, FR auth02, like that. In the client's BRD, you may not be having these type of details. It will be very much plain in English, right? So what you can do is you can take that particular BRD and ask Claude to generate the BRD of this type for your reference and then implement the entire application. And you can share this BRD also with the client that this is what we have created and we are going to implement the same. Okay. How to create the BRD from BRD, BRD MD from BRD, again using the Claude, right? So basically, let's go to the Claude window only. And let's pass this whole story. Okay. Create this as .md. That's it. Or you can ask in the Claude code also directly. I'm using the Claude AI. You can use the Claude code as well. So it will go through the entire document and generate the .md file. We have to use AI smartly and we have to use wherever we can, right? Creating the specification document, creating the test cases, creating the brd.md, any document, because that will help us to faster the implementation, right? Companies are using it. We have to use it as well. We have to adapt also, right? We cannot be just that I'll not use AI, I will do everything from my side. No, right? No one will wait for that. So quickly implement, quickly use AI, implement the entire thing, and that's it. That is the whole idea. That is what companies are doing, and that is what we have to adapt as well. Then only we will able to survive. That is the clear cut we have to follow, right? Claude Code is a very powerful tool. Apart from that, there are other tools as well, like Codex is there, your from OpenAI, Anti-Gravity is there from Google, right? So these are the tools. Your Cursor is there, which is now acquired by Tesla. So you can very well use any of these tools. It's not that you have to use Claude Code only. You can use any other tools as well, but the concept will remain the same. They will also have the agents. They will also have the skills. They will also have the commands, hooks. Everything will be present in their environment as well. So if you are understanding one of the coding agent, understanding the other agent will not be a challenge, right? Here is my .md file. I can download that. I can put it in my folder. That's it. Okay? Everything is present here. All right, so this is what I wanted to cover. I hope you got something from this session. I'll be sharing this document with the support team. You can connect with the support team and you can get all these documents. You can play around with that. Try to implement some of the use cases, health app or something like that, and follow this process. You will see that machine will do a good job, right? You have seen the front end just now. It was doing a good job, right? How we can deploy in the UAT? We can integrate this with the GitHub as well. Entire code can be deployed to the GitHub. And later on, you can deploy in the higher environment as well. So we can integrate Claude Code with the GitHub also. Okay. Why is the Claude on anti-gravity is faster than Claude on VS Code? I'm not sure. I never used anti-gravity. I need to check it out. But ideally, the speed should be the same. I'm not sure why it's happening like that. Cool. So thanks for your time, and we'll see you in the next session. I hope you got something from here. Take care, guys. I'll share the code with the support team. You can just connect with them and they will forward it to you guys. Or maybe in the YouTube link where the videos will be there, we will put the Google Drive link. You will find it there. Just give us 1 day's time. You will find that in the YouTube channel. Okay. Take care, guys. Have a nice day.